Pray to Allah that you guys are all having a wonderful and excellent day. Today, we get to interview, one of my big little brothers in the collective, who has been an inspiration to us all, and who has, a wonderful spirit and just looking out for all of us, especially the sisters. So I yield the floor to none other than, I call him student minister, the strategist, Evan X. So we're going to talk about the topic of the sacredness of the male. We all know that the female is sacred, but nobody talks about the sacredness of the male. And so I'll yield it over to the next host, Sister Mecca, and then we'll get into asking our brothers some questions. Sister Mecca.
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Welcome to this space. Thank you guys for coming in. And I'm very interested to know brother's perspective that I have young males that I am rearing. So what I can learn from him today on how to teach my sons on their sacredness. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say, brother.
All praises due to Allah. I appreciate it, sisters. I can't wait. Let's get it in. Let's go.
Yeah. So the first question would be, what is sacredness to you? And why do you think it should apply not only to the female, but to the male?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Sacredness to me, it means having a sense of respect, honor, dignity, and having a code about yourself, especially as a man. We have to have our own values in check, and we don't allow anything to overcome those values. We don't allow anything to overcome our own, our honor. We got to have an honor code. So, with us in the Black community, unfortunately, we've been living without a code for so long that it seems kind of normal, but we have to get back to having a code, having honor, having respect for ourselves, and carrying ourselves with dignity and what I will call swag, supreme wisdom activating God. That's what I will call. That's swag for you right there. If you just have that swag about yourself, that supreme wisdom activating God aspect, then, nothing could phase you as a man, and nothing could phase you as far as like your code, your honor, the way you carry yourself. So that's what I would say would be the beginning of your question. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Sister Mecca, you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am. That was a good question. In what ways has the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you being an FOI taught you about the sacredness of yourself? And did you know how sacred you were prior to receiving this knowledge?
Ooh, here she goes. See, y'all. That's why I call her Sub-Zero, because she cold. She cold. Sis. I always had a sense that I had. I always valued myself. I was never so deep in the mud that I was completely oblivious to who I am and what I am. I've always known that I had a higher power calling me to a greater purpose. But these teachings, though, it just awakens the inner warrior within a person, And for me, that's what it did. Like hearing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tell him straight, America must be burned, and just going in, just carrying himself just in a fearless manner. For me as a young Black man growing up, it just did something to me, and it just awoken this inner lion that was always there. I always had a feeling it was there, but the teachings just put water on it. And from there, I was just, I was walking around, I was talking, I was moving, and I was just doing what I got to do. And I had a focus, I had a purpose, and it just gave me, it just awoke in my inner ambitions. I just felt like I need to conquer something, you know, but not in an ignorant way like how we do in the streets, but in a more positive way. And the teachings guided me in that positive direction, because before that I was conquering, but in an ignorant direction. But it's these teachings that awoken that inner warrior, that soldier within myself. And to this day, like I still feel that fire. That fire has never dwindled. Never. It's never dwindled. It's always been there. And but the teachings also make that fire, I'm able to control it, and I'm able to not allow that fire to consume me and consume those who are around me.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. So let me take a moment of personal privilege to introduce the women of the collective. We have Sister Mecca, the fireball in the collective. We have Sister Desiree, the soldier, the hard-hitting soldier in the collective. We have Sister Alexia, the person that writes the scripts and comes up with these powerful tools to use in the collective. And then we have Sister Konisa, who is the cook and who's the master behind How to Eat to Live. And then you have myself, the doc, who makes sure that everybody is on point and making sure they are taking care of themselves. So that is the women of the collective. And also the brothers in the collective, we have Student Minister Zaki in the building. Thank you, sir, for coming through and showing your support. And then we have the ever so talented Brother Malcolm. Thank you for coming through. And then we have the strategist, the person that we are interviewing today. So thank you all for coming through and enjoying this interview that we're doing with our brother called The Sacredness of the Male. So the next question that I have for you, Brother Evan, comes from the most powerful Sister Alexia. And now she was going to come through and hit you hard with some questions. So here we go.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Come on.
So she said, what does it mean to be a man of virtue or valor?
Ooh, here she go already. Man, I think brothers we have to carry ourselves with virtue and respect. Like I was saying before, that inner respect for ourselves. And it just means not allowing anyone to taint your spirit, not allowing anyone to taint our bodies and our minds. We carry ourselves with the utmost respect, and we treat those around us with the utmost respect. So, it's just having high morals and high standards about yourself as a man. And it don't make you weak. It don't make you lame. It don't make you, it doesn't mean that you're not showing your masculinity, because, today in today's society, a lot of us throw this term masculinity around loosely, in my opinion. A lot of us throw, these terms like alpha male around, beta male around, but really nobody know what the hell they're talking about. So, but carrying yourself with virtue just means you have high standards as a man, high moral values as a man. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we're not prone to just, linger in one direction or the other direction simply because we can't control our lower desires. That's all that means. You know what I'm saying? And if one who's a man who's a virtue of the Lord, like that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to me. That's the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to me. Those are the ones who, who have virtue and have high morals, high standards, but you ain't gonna punk them. And that doesn't mean that they're less than a man simply because they got virtue standards and they have high qualities and values.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Mecca, that's the Lord.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Thank you for the answer, Brother Evan. So my next question is, in what ways can you teach young boys about their virtue and how to, in Satan's world, virtue is not really something that's promoted or implemented in a person. And so a way for a young boy to be proud of his virtue, how would you teach him that?
Well, I will I will actually teach him, of course, like to love himself and to understand that, we're in a system that is geared towards our destruction. And any type of self-love is something to be treasured and something to be valued. So, the young brothers out there, they don't value themselves, because we live in a society where, like what you just said, Satan's world is just run amok. So, it's really hard for a young brother to really just have that inner talk with himself. But I would teach him to love himself because unfortunately, when it comes to our young boys and our brothers out there in the streets, it's really, it's like loving oneself is taboo. So, I will have to really just have that heart to heart with the brother and just let them know, like, it's okay to even use the word love, because the word love is taboo, especially amongst the inner circles amongst black men. We don't tell each other we love each other enough. So I know we don't tell ourselves that we love ourselves enough. And one thing I learned from one of my teachers, my brother from the East, brother Munakai, my brother, he's really has helped me out a lot. And he's always told me, brother, you have to embrace, that inner child within yourself. And you have to show love and nurture to yourself, because you can't expect nobody else to do it. And one thing is for sure, the world doesn't owe us an explanation. And I tell them that, like, I don't go into this world expecting anything to be handed to me, or explanation or sympathy. I don't expect that. So because of that, I have to keep my head up above water, but I carry my own self. I carry myself with grace, and I carry myself with dignity. And like I said in the beginning, I carry myself with that swag. So I tell the young brothers, like, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. Hold yourself accountable. In fact, I love myself so damn much. When I'm working out, I even punish myself. Yeah, I punish myself when I feel like I'm cheating on my regimen. I punish myself, not out of trying to hurt myself, but because I know better. So I try to give myself that discipline. I'm a disciple of discipline.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Laura,
Yes, ma'am.
can I ask him another question?
Yes, ma'am.
So, so kind of from this same standpoint of the last question I asked, how important in a young man, not even just a young man, but man, period, is a man's chastity? Because his chastity is sacred too. We teach our daughters to keep chaste, but how important is it for a man to keep chaste? Because in this world, it's like whoever got the most count, what I'm saying, they a man. So how do you teach a young boy who is around other boys who are gloating about their concubines, so to speak, to hold out and to remain chaste?
Well, first thing I say is to hell with all of them. That's what I say. I say to hell with all of them, because any type of person that make you feel bad because you are choosing to honor yourself, that's the type of person who ain't a friend. He ain't your homie. He ain't your partner. He ain't your road dog. He ain't your dog. He ain't a goddamn thing. So that's why I tell them the hell with all of them. Number one. Number two, those who mock those who are actually trying to abstain from really making a damn fool out of themselves permanently, those are the ones who, in my opinion, are the real so-called betas. Those are the ones, in my opinion, who don't know really who they are, and they don't have nothing to offer to the world. Because if you could just walk around here just planting seeds in any garden, you know what I'm saying, and you don't give a skip about where you planting your seed at, then brother, that's just a sign that you don't give a damn about your life. Because the man, what we have to offer is our legacy. So who we choose as a mate is very important. So when you just planting seeds in any garden simply because it looked good, then brother, you setting yourself up for failure. Period. I don't give a skip how good she look. I don't care how bad she is. You're setting yourself up for failure, because the man has to be very careful too, because brothers, our sisters are attracted to status. Our sisters are attracted to status, and they're attracted to power, and they're attracted to respect. So when you walk around here, you can't control your urges because you're weak. That's pathetic. You see what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. And brother, at the end of the day, she bad. Yeah, she bad. But guess what else is bad? What else is bad is you having a child by a woman who don't really have your best interests at heart. A lot of our sisters who are struggling out here as well, they don't have our best interests at heart, because they too have been usurped by a universal snake of the grafted type. So therefore, we have to be very careful on who we choose as our mates as men, and who we plant our seeds in, because just because she has a garden, brother, don't mean that she needs your seed. So I just want to make that clear.
Yes, sir. Praise be to God. Powerful answer, brother.
One more thing, Sister T. I gotta say this. I'm sorry, but just as our sister can give birth to a God, she can also give birth to a devil. So I wanted to add that there.
Yes, sir. As I bring brother Sister Mecca back up here. The next question is from the How to Eat to Live girl herself, Sister Kanisa. She said, what ways can a man learn more about his own virtue?
By studying the woman. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. By studying the woman, understanding the woman, and by attempting to, if he hasn't already, but attempting to really see her perspective in things and see why she is the way she is, because she's our second self. So when you study yourself, you're studying her. So you have to study her, brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in my opinion, is beloved by so many women. Not in a low down way, but in a way in which he is dignified with honor and respect by women all around the world. And I'm not even talking about just Black women. Women all around the world respect the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad before him. But it's because he and they have literally poured themselves into our women. So as a man, for you to understand your virtue, brother, you have to understand where you came from. And where you came from was the womb of a Black woman. That's where you came from. And she nurtured you, and she cared for you for 9 months. So therefore, that's where it starts at. It starts by understanding your mother, understanding your woman. And then from there, seeing why she went through the pain. Like even the minister, the way he breaks down his relationship with his mother is just something there for us to study. Every time the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan opens his mouth, it's something for us to study. I don't care if he's talking about the past. I don't care if he's talking about a prophetic apocalyptic event that's going to come in the future. I don't care if he's talking about the present. The fact of the matter is, when he opens his mouth, it's something to study, especially regarding his personal life. So, brother, we have to close the gap when it comes to this facade of masculinity that's being trended all over social media. Most of these so-called date doctors, gurus, are all who you listen to, your YouTube gurus and all these other people. They don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to loving a man. They claim to love men, but they don't really love men because they don't really know men. Because they don't really know men because they don't really know the woman. So it starts with her, and it starts with yourself first. So I'll leave it at that.
You better teach, sir. Damn.
All praises due to Allah.
So the next question. Go ahead, Mecca. No, actually, Sister Alexia had another question because she got to bring.
Man, this is revenge. Man, this is revenge for what I did to her.
Because it is revenge, and she gonna get you back. So. She asked the question, how can a man lose his sacredness? And I think that ties in with what you just said about, the man's purity and, not, dipping your spoon into every woman. So that ties in with that. But if you can expound on that.
Yes, man. Well, he loses his sacredness by exactly what you just said, by going out here and, dipping and dabbling, but most importantly, by not understanding, his origins as a man. Like, it begins with, and I see it all the time in the hood, but it begins with the disrespect of his parents, but most importantly, his mother. One thing about black men, we love mama. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, what you say about my mama? Nigga? Like we love mama, but when a man it can disrespect his mother, that's the sign of a man. That's like, for y'all who watch true crime shows, when we watch, true crime and we studying the white man and we studying his crazy ass serial killers, excuse my language, but we study, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, all that. We see signs of how they became what they became, and they became menaces to society. You know what I'm saying? Because, they went through a period, a transitioning period in which they started torturing little animals, stuff like that. Yeah, the equivalent to that is when the black man in his community disrespect his mother. When you see a brother out there cussing out his mama, that's a sign of a brother who's going to be a loose cannon in the community. And if we don't stop it, right, if we don't take charge, then that's a sign that we're going to be breeding another generation of those brothers out here who don't have any respect for themselves and no respect for the next life. So that's why they could go out there and snuff out another life and it don't mean nothing to them. When you can disrespect your mother that way, brother, that's the sign of a man who's about ready to be out of control. He's going to split planets. By planets, I'm talking about the heads of people out there, because he's going to be a straight up knucklehead. So, it starts with that, in my opinion. When you start seeing a man disrespect his mother, his foundation, his home, and then it just goes from there. It's just a down spiral event. Now he's disrespecting his sister, then he's disrespecting the next sister around the block, and next everybody's bees and hoes out of nowhere, and then after that he has no choice but to just go out there and start planting everywhere, because that's how he was groomed. So yes, I'll say that's the case.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. This next question comes from Sister Desiree. She said, how do you manage being a single man over 30 when getting married is heavily pushed? What advice do you have for men who have trouble with finding a wife?
The advice I would have for men who have trouble finding a wife is what Sister Ava said to us in general. She said, you have to master being single first. And as a man, though, you see, the minister said, when you don't have any ambition and you don't have a goal, then you don't need a woman, right? So it don't matter how old you are. You could be 50. If you ain't got nothing to do, or if you don't have a goal, at least a goal, at least a place where you want to be. But even with goals, quote unquote, that could get tricky, because every time you begin to, you have those moments where you start moving the goalpost because you are comfortable in your nothingness. So, having an ambition, a mission in life that's greater than yourself, something to, focus on, I would say that's one of the things that you will have to do. And then channeling your energy, meditation, prayer, working out, fitness, getting yourself right mentally, physically, spiritually, and then, of course, obviously financially, because we don't believe in 50-50 over here. Then, from that's when, you'll begin to, see that, okay, well, you know what? I have this purpose, I have this goal now, and I have my mission, and I have the ambition to get it done. I'm getting things done. I think I may be able to qualify for a help me. So, I don't really put an age number on it per se, but at the same time, I do think a man is eventually, he's going to have to come into the realization that he cannot and should not want to go about this life by himself. And of course, in Islam, we know marriage is half of our faith. So since marriage is half of your faith, we want to try to make sure we have someone to spend our life with, but you can't bring her into nothingness. So even with the originator of heavens and the earth, I guarantee you, after he created his second self, she came with something. She came to something that he had going on. He won't just, he won't just dwindle in space. So yeah. So that's my answer to that.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Perfect answer. Before I go to Sister Mac, I have a question for you. Now we know that the FOI are the backbone of our nation, the protectors, the providers for their family. Brother Evan, has your sacredness ever been challenged? And when I say has your sacredness been challenged, I mean women. They know that you're trying to live an upright life. Praying 5 times a day, studying, being in tune with Allah God Himself. Has your sacredness ever been challenged by women of this world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, look, straight up, we all know that the temptation of this world is something. But yes, I have been challenged. And all praise due to Allah. They ain't get me yet. They ain't gonna get me neither. You know what I'm saying? But yes, absolutely, because sisters are attracted to the FOY. Like I said, we got the supreme wisdom activating God. Look, I be on the corner sometimes, man, with the final call, man. Sisters just roll down their window. We see you, brother. We see you. I remember one time when Muhammad Ali passed away. We had the issue of the final call, Muhammad Ali on the front cover. Sister gonna roll down her. You look like Ali, brother. I'm like, what? What? I look like Ali. I'm like, thank you. All praise due to Allah. But they have, but look. At the at the end of the day, I still maintain my discipline. I maintain my faith, and I maintain my Islam, because I'm not going to allow anybody to cause a nuisance on or near my post. And my post is my virtue. My post is my sacredness. My post is my discipline. So you ain't gonna come over here and trying to, usurp me. You gotta be. Look. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not bragging and I'm not boasting, but I've studied my Messiah, I've studied my teacher, my minister, the Yamba minister Louis Farrakhan, and I'm saying this with my chest out. You gotta be one hell of a woman to capture me. Oh yeah, you gotta be one hell of a woman to capture me. You're gonna have to do a lot more than come and dangle some pretty voices and bat some fake eyelashes. You gotta do a lot more than that to get your boy. You know what I'm saying? Because I am the black god and I am the young phenom.
So my question is the sacredness of a man conditional?
No. it is not conditional.
Like, does it depend on whether or not the man has a connection or has found his connection to God?
Oh, well, in that aspect, I would say yes, it is to a certain extent. But, there are men out here who do not or have not heard of the word of God, but they carry themselves with respect. But at the same time, when you do hear the word of God, I would say that that self-respect should be at its zenith. I would say that self-respect should be, like, there should be nothing that could be able to deter you away from your post. But there are plenty of men out here who don't know about religion or any some sort, and they're able to carry themselves with respect. They ain't out here fooling around. There are brothers who are like that who are out here. But when you get this word though, and especially these teachings, it's kind of unconditional, bruh.
So if a man or really even a woman, but if somebody doesn't believe in God, period, are they still considered sacred? And if not, why?
Well, I would say that they are sacred simply because they exist based upon the fact that Allah saw purpose to bringing them into this life for a specific reason. So, in the sense, I don't think their life means nothing because they don't know the word of God just yet. But I think that's the reason why we're here, because we all know that, we're supposed to deliver all of our people to the Lamb of God. But, but they're here for a purpose. So that purpose may be to be introduced to the word of God. But, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that they don't have a purpose or they're not sacred. It just means that they just don't have the knowledge of self enough to know that they're sacred. I hope I'm making sense.
Well, what if I'm about to push you, Brother Evan.
Come on, push it in. Push it to the limit. Don't make it easy. Let's go.
So it sounds as if though you're speaking in regards to Black people. But what about white people? What about a white man who does not believe in God, or even just a white man, period? Is he still considered sacred?
I believe personally, every life on this planet is sacred. Now, sacred meaning that you're here for a reason. Sacred meaning you're here for a purpose. Now, whether that purpose is good or bad, that's to be determined. But sacred as in you're here for a reason and you're here for a purpose, right? Because we could make an argument that let's say okay, Steve Jobs, right? Steve Jobs did his job. The minister has been on record thanking Steve Jobs for his job plenty of times, right? But at the same time, he's a white man, but he served a purpose. We all study in the Nation of Islam, we study Dianetics, right? But L. Ron Hubbard did his job, right? I think everyone is here for a specific reason and specific purpose. Fine. Okay, fine. You want to go what? Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Yeah. Member of the Black Nation. But according to the Albert Mirza Louis Farrakhan, he was white. According to the teachers of the Most Humble Elijah Muhammad, he was white. So since that's the case, then it's not the prophet sacred. You see? So I just don't think that sacredness is limited to blackness. I think when we get into that, that's when we're getting into a form of zealotry in which we are now becoming what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we are not. We are not black supremacists. We are not black supremacists. We don't believe in practice no black supremacy. We believe in practice black universal. We are a universal people. So because of that, that consists of the black, the brown, the red, the yellow. And if you want to talk about the white, quote unquote, the white is included if they turn from their nature, which is that of the rebellious devil. Man, yeah, who you think you talking to, sis? Y'all ain't gonna trick me up like that. Hey guys, 1 second. I gotta get out this room for 1 second, and I have to come right back because my phone is tripping real quick. Hey mom. He keeps calling. I'm in an interview. I can't answer.
to be the Mary of the Quran. And she didn't know I was going to say this about her, but everything that, that she teaches, it hits my heart and makes me become a better student minister. So I want to thank her for not only posting Quranic quotes, but also being a person with a genuine spirit and who actually calls me on my stuff. So thank you, Sister Mecca, for being a positive light and a positive spirit in my life. And
I am a reflection of you, 100%.
All right, I'm back, family. My bad.
Yeah, you would leave for a second and come back.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sister Alexia, she had to get you back. We wouldn't be the second self if we didn't get, the brothers back. So she got questions.
Oh, God.
The next question she has is, what is your role as a man, and how can being unequally yoked affect you fulfilling your mission?
Ooh, man, here she go. Okay. But my role as a man is to be God. The black man is God. God is a man. My role as a man is to be God, right? But not just a God that doesn't have any self-control. I ain't talking about the moon God. I'm talking about my role is to be God in a way in which I'm bringing forth my reality, my legacy, my status, my mission, and it's all geared toward helping the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our nation. My role as a man is to be a patriot and then to be a soldier and a warrior for the cause of Islam and against injustice. That's my role as a man. And I'm not reading no damn postcard. I'm keeping it real. If you ask any of my comrades and my brothers and sisters on this stage and in this room, this is how Brother Evan talks and this is how he thinks. I am a soldier. And I am to meet and overcome all obstacles in my path. You see, but that's my role. And can you rephrase the second question, sis?
Yes, sir. The second part was, and how can being unequally yoked affect you fulfilling your mission?
Oh man. Yes, because man, look. Y'all heard what I just said, right? I need a sister who's on that same path, right? And if she ain't on that same path in some way, shape, or form, I ain't saying she gotta be exactly like me because I have a little problem with being exactly like the same person. But if she has her focus on that in that same way, then it can work. But if she doesn't see herself as a soldier, if she doesn't see herself as a warrior, if she doesn't see herself as a woman of virtue, and like I see myself as a man of virtue, well, in Houston, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the type of brother to just go dibbling and dabbling in any old thing. I'm just not going to do that. But if we are yoked equally by having the same ambition, the same mentality, the same mind, the same focus, then, it can work. But, if I have a sister who's not on that, and she doesn't want to be on that, and there's one thing if a sister's struggling. This is one thing if she's struggling and she doesn't understand and she doesn't yet know her purpose, because don't nobody really know their full purpose just yet. It's a struggle trying to get there. But if she ain't trying, then what? If she ain't trying, then what's there to talk about? If she's not trying to understand where I'm coming from, what's there to talk about? We ain't got nothing to talk about. I need a sister I can build with. I need a sister I can pour myself into spiritually, mentally, and then vice versa. But if she doesn't know how to complement that, or she doesn't want to complement that, then we ain't got nothing to talk about, Jack. I don't give a damn how good you look. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, you got to do more than bat some eyelashes. You got to do more to have a nice smile. It's not about the physical all the damn time. And that's where we mess up at. Because if we just have the physical and nothing going on with the mental and the spiritual, then it's like, brother, you're really just pouring yourself into an empty vessel that doesn't even have a purpose. So I'm not trying to have a non-purposeful woman. I know that's a word, that ain't a word, but I don't give a skip. I'm not trying to have a non-purposeful woman, a woman who doesn't have no purpose, because I can't be equally yoked with that. How in the hell can she give birth to the God then? How can she give birth to my legacy, to my status? And brothers, we have to be more selfish when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? We have to be more selfish when it comes to that. We got to stop thinking that every woman is on that level. She's not. Okay? She's not. She's not there yet. It's our jobs as men to make sure that we build the security. Oh, y'all don't like that word. The security, so she can feel safe to give birth to a God. So she can feel safe to pour herself back into you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm coming from when it comes to that. I don't believe in just pouring myself into an empty woman who doesn't have nothing to offer. I'm a fool if I do that. And I'm setting myself and my generation and my seed up for destruction if I do that. We have to carry ourselves in a much better light than that.
Ooh, that is heavy. Yes, sir. Goodness, praise be to Allah.
Yeah, they shouldn't have gave me the microphone. I'm hurting hearts today.
Here we go. Here we go. So the next question is, how can the company you keep increase or decrease your virtue?
By the same thing I said earlier in regards to talking to the young brothers out there in the community, and they don't have they're suffering through peer pressure. You know, I'm not trying to sound cliche-ish, okay, family, I'm not, but man, my company is Allah, man. My company is the God, man. My company is the brotherhood and the sisterhood who believe in the same God that I believe in, who worship the same God I worship, and who doesn't mind going tooth and nail for your brother. See, that's the company I keep. I don't keep no raggedy company. You see, look, man, we live in a world where everybody like to say, keep it in 100. We got to start keeping it in 100 with our company. And if we think that the company that we keeping is actually demoralizing us, then we got to do some reflection. We got to have that come to Jesus meeting. And the collective, we know about them come to Jesus meetings. But we got to have these come to Jesus meetings when it comes to, dealing with the company that we keep. Because if we are around people who don't have our best interest, or if we're around people who are dragging us down, then either we are going to be dragged down with them, or we're going to have to pull them up with us. And more than likely, unfortunately, in this society where Satan's world has run amok and where white supremacy is the rule of the day, more than likely, brother, you ain't going to stand a chance. One thing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us as believers, he said, you can't deal with Satan. You can't deal with Satan. And we live in the dunya. The dunya meaning in Islam, that means this is the world that's transitioning out into the world of Allah, which means it ain't fully out yet. So we still here. So since we're still here dealing with this world and its temptations, we got to have people around us who have the same kind of mind that we have. If you hanging around people like, for example, the Most High Elijah Muhammad teaches us, stay out of large crowds of white people, right? He teaches us that for a reason. But if you got your homies, cuz, let's go roll up to the concert. Ain't nothing wrong with going to a concert, but it depends on the kind of concert, and depends if the brother and the sister that you kicking it with, if they ain't in survival mode like you, if they don't know when to move out, if they ain't sitting with their back towards the exit, if they ain't making sure that everything ain't on cue, then what you doing hanging with them? More than likely, you will end up smoked out. So, we just got to be careful. If we're in a time of war, we as Black people have to move like everything is a conspiracy, because everything is a conspiracy. And I ain't talking about no damn theory. I'm talking about documentation. So since we know that this is a conspiracy out here to kill the Black man first, brother, and we know that the black man is the target, we have to be very careful. And in regards to our women, we know that they are in a vulnerable position. So since they're in a vulnerable position, not only do we have to protect them, we got to protect ourselves. So if you got sisters around you, brother, and you just trying to dibble and dabble with your spoon, but you ain't thinking about her mind and protecting her virtue, then brother, man, what you doing hanging around these kind of people? So I'll leave it at that.
Sister Mecca. Wow. Come on, Brother Evan. Come on, man. Come on.
Teach, sir.
Come on.
Teach.
Come on. Praise be to Allah.
So my question is there a process to being sacred? And are there levels to it?
Yeah, the process begins when you accept the only and be yourself. When you understand who you are and why you're here. And as far as levels, yes, I would say there's levels to it, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our teachers, our eternal leader, our God, even, there were levels to their growth and development. So why we think there ain't levels to our growth and development? You ain't just born God, brother. I mean, you are by nature, but circumstances have made us different, because we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So since that's the case, we have to, it's evolutionary development here. I ain't talking about Darwin's theory. The hell with that cracker. I'm talking about God's theory. I'm talking about our theory. I'm talking about us here. So, there is an evolutionary development when it comes to being a God and trying to develop our sacredness. And it begins, again, like I said, with just having the knowledge of self and, prayer, meditation, fasting, following how to eat to live. And most importantly, submitting ourselves to do the will of Allah, because it's through that is where the journey really begins, you see. But now for those out there who don't follow religion or whatnot, you can still implement fasting. You can still implement training your mind, training your body, training yourself physically. You can still implement those type of those practices, you see. So, and there's evolutions to that. There's stages in martial arts. There's stages in when it comes to receiving a degree or any type of school of study. So why do we think when it comes to being a man of virtue or even a woman of virtue, there's not stages and evolutionary developments to that? So there are stages to it, and it begins with just accepting your own and being yourself, knowing who you are, why you're on this earth for a specific reason. We're not on this earth to just pay bills and die. We're not on this earth to just pay the car note and die. We're not on this earth to just have sex and die. We're not on this earth for just that. If we think we're on the earth for just that, then maybe we should just, we should question why we really here, But there's stages in the growth and development of this.
Okay, I have one more question. Can a woman teach a man about his sacredness, or how important is it for the father to be in that child's life and teaching him his sacredness? Or does it matter whether it comes from the father or the mother?
I would say it definitely matters. But now we got to add the context. It matters. The father should be in the home. Definitely. But in most cases, unfortunately, he's not. But then we have an example among us today with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who didn't know his father, but his mother raised him. And we see the example he is. He's a man of men. What? He's the man of men. He's the voice of the voiceless. If there's anyone who I can point to who exemplifies what it's like to grow up without a father, but have a mother or a woman raise up, it's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, I said it. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but I don't give a damn what you like. It's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's him. He's the one who has been the example. Why? Why you say that, Brother Evan? Because technically I grew up without my father. My father passed away when I was like 11, 12 years old. So throughout my teenage years and my adult years, I haven't had a father. The only voice I've been hearing in my head has been the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And matter of fact, my father been gone for so long that I even forgot what he even sounds like. But it's okay. It's cool. I have pictures and I have stuff like that, but I don't have any recordings of my dad and nothing like that. But at the end of the day, it's all good because the minister, I know my father would be proud of me today because I follow a man like him. And my dad, my father, he won't out there dibbling and dabbling. Oh no, he won't dibbling and dabbling. He won't beating my mother. He won't mistreating my mother. I never even heard them have an argument. I never even heard them have an argument. You see what I'm saying? My father always treated my mother with respect. So therefore, it wasn't hard for me to fall in line with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who treats all women with respect. The nerve of the enemy to walk around, he's anti-woman. Oh, you anti-black and you anti-Farrakhan. So you the real anti-Christ. You no good bastard. How dare you say that the minister is anti-woman or he doesn't have any type of respect for the woman? Have you seen the MGT and GCC? I don't think you have. And if you have, you a damn liar. See, we got to start calling like we see it. You know what I'm saying? We got to start calling it like we see it. The minister grew up without a father and his mother raised him. He was looking for a father. He found one in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, I mean, sometimes it's not about, like what the minister said, I think it was Savior's Day 1997. He said, you may be of my physical loins, but that don't mean you're of me. It's the spiritual that was matters. It's the spiritual. So you could be blood all you want, man. We blood in, blood out. Nah, it's the spiritual. So, I'm going to just leave it at that. All praise is due to Allah. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir. So there was a comment that was placed in the comment area. I see you, Kanye. Thank you for coming into the room. Praise be to Allah. So, do you think a woman can raise a man?
Did I not just? I just said, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted you to reiterate it because that was a comment.
Yes, emphatically, yes. We have a man who was raised by. Matter of fact, we have the Son of Man, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I told you he didn't know his father, but his mother raised him. Absolutely, and like I said, he's the man of men. He makes soldiers. Who you think you're talking to? We love Khalid. Oh, I'm gonna now y'all get me hype. We love Khalid. Yeah, give me a black goddess sister. I can't resist her. No, nap. Yeah. Who you think he got that from? Huh? We love Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Yeah. Oh, he black, man, shining, but he the black power general. Red, black, and green. RBG, revolutionary but gangster. Who you think he got that from? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You see what I'm saying? Do we want to go there? I'll go there. You know what I'm saying? There won't be a new Black Panther Party for self-defense like how it is today if it wasn't for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Even though the minister was never a Black Panther, but Khalid took the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to the new Black Panther Party and raised it up to a level that is never seen before. But he got that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So let's keep it real. And the minister was raised by a woman. Yeah. You can y'all can click that up and retweet that.
That's right. Y'all heard what he said. So we don't want to take up too much of your time, Brother Evan, because I know, we can be on the stage all day, and I know you want to answer all these. We can go to 4:00. So,
man, y'all ain't about to have me cut no Savior's Day lecture.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna ask 2 more questions. How can you discover your sacredness in Allah? In Allah, how can you discover your sacredness in Allah?
Well, I would say by going into yourself, like how the originator went into himself. You have to go into yourself mentally. Matter of fact,
Come on, Evan.
you have to close out everything, all distractions, your cell phone. That's the number one. Does your cell phone, the internet, mute everything. You know what I'm saying? Find yourself a quiet place and just think. We don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that no more. Just put down the phone, cut off the internet, and go into yourself. Go into the deepest parts of your mind and just think and analyze and strategize. And then from there, you'll be able to see that the world, when it's quiet, your world will begin to open. You see, like I said, I'm a disciple of discipline. You see, I had to do that within myself. I went through a depression. Right? Everybody's like to throw that term around these days, but I'm being for real. I went through a real depression. Because, like I said, this world weighs heavy on you. You know, we got disappointments we deal with. We have ups and downs we deal with. Every other day is something going on, man. Every other day is something sprung up out of nowhere. Every other day we're dealing with this world. So since we're dealing with this world, you have to cut the world out at least for 5 to 10 minutes. And then after that, you'll get better at it. You know, and I think I'm going to cut the world out for about 25 more minutes. Then I'm going to cut the world out for like about an hour. Next thing you know, you meditating and you're praying within yourself for a whole day even. And that's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because the world will drive you crazy. People, especially people. Because we're trials for one another. Your family's a trial for you. Your children's a trial for you. Your girl a trial for you. Brother. The girls you dabbling with is trials for you. Brother. So since it's trials for you, you got to tune that out. You got to tune it out and you have to detox yourself. You have to cleanse yourself. So shut the door. Go into the other room. Matter of fact, go to the park. Go to the park 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes when nobody's around. You just meditate. You just meditate. You just pray. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, you start fasting. And then you just, you begin to cleanse yourself. And then from there, nothing is really bothering you no more because you were able to detox yourself mentally first. So, there are stages to this. But again, it begins with yourself. It begins with yourself. If you just give 2% more than you gave the day before, you'll be better off.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, sir. Woo! Yeah, if you all are just now coming in the room, we are interviewing the women of the collective. I'm interviewing Brother Evan on the sacredness of the male. We know that the female is sacred, but is the male sacred? So, the last question, if Mecca doesn't have any questions, the next question would be, praise be to Allah. The last question would be, any advice for brothers who don't know their value and how can they appreciate it or develop it?
I would have to say, study the life of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and really analyze that man's life. See, let me tell y'all something. Brother Student Minister Ishmael, he said this, I think this past Sunday, but I'm paraphrasing. But he said, today, everybody they say they don't need no leader. We don't need no leader. What's the point? And then he said, well, you don't need no leader. That's like saying you don't need a head on your body because your head leads your body. So I'm saying study the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for a reason, because that man's life, I guarantee you, if you study it, his life will touch your life in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. And if you basically, I don't know, but study the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's life then. You see, there's a reason why your brother lately has been going hard on the hypocrite. There's a reason why. You know what I'm saying? Because hypocrisy breeds within. So you have to begin to look within yourself first. I had to look within myself first. Brother Ben says it all the time. It's the enemy, but it's the inner me. I had to look within myself first. I had to do a self-reflection. I had to self-reflect. I had to do a detox. You see? And I began to study how I thought about myself. I began to study how I thought about my peers. I began to study how I thought about my family. And then from there, I just went, okay, well, you know what? Let me study the value of the woman. And then I just went from there because I kept hearing the minister say it. I'm following my teacher's advice. I'm following my teacher's advice. I'm studying like how he said. I'm studying the value of the woman. I began to go from there. And from learning the struggles of my mother, I began to know the struggles of me and why I am the way that I am. And then I began to look at my father. And then I went from there. In fact, I went back and I studied my grandparents and their struggles. I studied my grandparents' struggles. You see, and I did that for a specific reason because I wanted to know who I was today and my purpose today. But I could not, I would be remiss if I didn't say that, studying the woman and studying my mom and then studying my father did not have a huge impact on me. And then I used the same methodologies that I used to study them and I added it to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You ain't going to get me to stop saying my teacher's name. Y'all must be out your damn mind. You think that's going to happen. And you know what? I'm feeling froggy and I feel like I may want to leave. So if anybody got any critiques, I don't mind taking that on either, but go ahead.
Yes. Praise be to Allah. Sister Mecca?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have any more questions.
Yes, ma'am. I think Brother Evan wrapped that up perfectly. Praise be to Allah. So thank you, sir, for coming on our stage and telling us about the sacredness of the male. I know there's a lot of brothers in the room that appreciate what you had to say. There's a lot of feedback in my inbox right now saying that they loved your answers.
All praise is due to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. So thank you, sir, for coming on and talking about the sacredness of the male, because we know the male is sacred.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all didn't have to know that you all are sacred.
And Sister T, I would like to do this every Monday, like our brother Reginald suggested, man. I think Monday, we need to go ahead and we ain't about we gonna do it. No, we doing it. Like
masculinity of the male, yes, sir.
Yeah. Y'all they gonna hate me on Twitter. Y'all should have never brought me up out here. No, it should have never brought me up on here. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir. I think that's a good idea. The men of the collective do the masculinity of the male Mondays. So yes, sir. But I want to say thank you, Brother Evan. But there's something that's coming, y'all. Something coming. Like a hurricane that's coming. I get the privilege and honor of interviewing my husband on the value of family. So,
oh boy.
So when you see, yes, fireball is coming. So the next room is going to be the value of family. And right after that, we get to hear from Student Minister Aki on the, when all else fails, there is Islam. So it's going to be two powerhouses in the building. My husband, my best friend, my love that Allah has shaped and molded for me specifically, talking about the value of the family. So that's right.
Sister T.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing real quick before we close out?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I was like to say to my brothers out there, all my peoples, Biggie, all my peoples, not for real. Brothers, if you have a wife, if you have children, and if you have a girlfriend, whatever, man, brothers, make sure you respect her. Make sure you elevate her. Make sure you protect her. And make sure that you are just there for her as a man. We got to be men. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really got to be men. And the ways I said it before, Sister T, I'm about to say it again. I'm about to ruffle up some feathers real quick, but I got to say it. That our communities are in the way it's in this condition because we dropped the ball, man. We dropped the damn ball. You see? We can't walk around here saying we the leader. Well, I'm the man, I'm the man's man. I'm the man. You need to respect me because I'm the man. No, brother. It don't work that way. Our babies are in the condition that they're in. Our women are in the condition that they're in because they ain't my kid out there. He don't belong to me. That ain't my son. You see sisters out there fight. I ain't about to come in between them. They gonna call the cops on me. See, that's that cowardice, man. When we see our communities the way that it is out there, we better go ahead and do something about it. Personally, your brother, like I said before, I set up a little hood patrol. A little hood patrol. The little homies out here, they watch my back, but they watch the back of their younger siblings, and they watch the backs of the children out here, because we got peeping times of pedophiles up in this community. You know what I'm saying? We don't know who they are, but we be seeing them tracking little boys, little girls when they going to school. So I set up a little hood patrol, and I told the little homies, I said, hey, look, y'all watch and make sure these kids get on the bus safely, and make sure they get off the bus safely. Yo, E, we got you, E, we got you. And I got respect because of that. And I'm out there. I'm monitoring. I'm making sure everything going on in my community, because it's my responsibility. I ain't gonna put the blame on someone else. I'm putting it on me. I'm the one who's carrying the flag of Islam here. Freedom, justice, and equality. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna drop my flag. That's the real flag, brother. You want to talk about red and blue? Yeah, this is the real flag. I ain't dropping my flag by allowing some foreign enemy like the police to come in my hood to monitor it. No, I'm monitoring my hood. So we got to just be men for real. Not just this cheap stuff that we see on social media. Everybody want to talk about masculinity. They don't know a damn thing about it. And you just because you walk around here with your chest, I'm a man's man, don't make you no man. You know what I'm saying? Brother Nuri, Student Minister Nuri, he made a great example. You could tell a man by his actions, and you could tell a man by what he says and what he does. And first, his first intimidating posture is his walk. And then after that, it's his talk. And then when really get down to it, it's his damn fist. So I just want to keep it real with us. Brothers, go out, go home, love your children, love your wives, show respect to your woman. And when she sees you out there in the hood like that, oh, brother. Oh, you got it right there. I'll leave it at that. I'm the boy, the strategist, son. Back to you, Sister T.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Brother Evan. But, I want to say again, for the people in the room, and I think people was away from their phone. Coming on next is my husband. He's going to talk about the value of the family. And right after him is Student Minister Zaki, where he's going to talk about when all else fails, there is Islam. So you have two hard-hitting soldiers coming to the stage. My husband is top-notch, so I got to, I'm biased when it comes to him. So, yeah, it's just going to be fired up in here when my husband comes, because he's going to answer all the questions about the value of family. That's right. Praise be to Allah. Until next time, family. Brother Evan, can you close us out?
Yes, ma'am. All right, fam. Attention prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, Master, the day of judgment, which we now live. Thee alone we serve, and thee alone we beseech from thy aid. O Allah, guide us on the path of righteousness, not the path of those that wrath has been brought down, nor those who have come before thee. I want to say, bless the family, bless us all, and keep us all healthy and safe as we go about our day and travel within our means. And I pray, Allah, that you bring us back home safely to wherever we have to go. I submit this prayer to thee, Allah, in the names of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the names of the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan. Ameen.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for coming through, family. If you missed it, the room has been recorded. Go back and listen to some powerful Jews that have been dropped. Bring your notebook and pen to the car and just take down these powerful Jews that Minister Evan. Ooh, can we speak that into existence?
Go ahead, speak it into existence, sis. I don't care. Go ahead, speak it to existence.
Minister Evan dropped today in this room. Praise be to God. May Allah bless each and every one of you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.